The Yellow Rose of Texas welcomes you to the RNR Does Stuff podcast. Yeehaw.
Dear listener, thanks for coming back to part 2 of Ryan's trip to Texas. And by the way, if you have just found our podcast and you are just listening to this episode, I'd go back to the last drop because that is where we talk about all the stuff leading up to this one and we kind of wrap up Ryan's trip. So go listen to that and then come back. And if you have listened and you're back, thanks for being back. And we're going to pick up kind of where we left off, which is we were going to play, just Ryan and I wrapping up game night. And he had a new card game. I believe it's called Amiga Duel, like pew pew, like you're having a duel against each other.
Exactly.
Dude, tell us about the game. Tell people about the game.
It's a little Amiga. It's a card game. I don't know how many cards it is. I think it's like in the neighborhood of like 30, 34 cards. So it's like we split the deck against the number of people that are there. I think it plays up to 4. And then you flip over your top card. It's a pseudo war kind of game. You pick one of the attributes of your Amiga, and if you have the highest value of it, say it was introduced later or your kickstart was higher or whatever. I guess introduced earlier is actually better. So the earlier version is actually better than the later version. It's a really bad audio explanation, and I'm really, really sorry, dear listener.
No, I'm going to jump in and say if anybody has ever played Top Trump's card games.
Oh, I know you mentioned that.
You get 4 or 5 lines of numerical data that have some kind of value. And so you get a card and you have 5 different things. Like one was innovation, right? One was the CPU processor. One was kickstart level. One was the year. And if you have the highest value, you win and you take the other people's card. So let's say I pulled the A500, which I remember this. The A500 lost on year released. It lost on processor. It lost on Kickstarter. It lost on so many things, but on innovation, it was a top number because it was innovative. And I remember on the age, I think the age was the older was better than newer.
The older was. That's what I was trying to explain.
That's right. Older cards could win in certain categories, but even then, sometimes they didn't. You could have an older card that the innovation wasn't that good, and you had to like massage as you're looking at your card. You're thinking, what does my opponent have? Can I beat them on CPU power? And then you announce it. The other person shows you theirs, and whoever wins, and the next person starts. Or the winner starts. So the winner gets to keep calling. I think the first game, because I had played Top Trump so many times, Ryan, I think I smoked you on the first game.
Oh, you most definitely.
Yeah, I knew how to play this. I knew the strategy right off the bat. The second game, you smoked me. And I think you won on the third game too. But that's just because you figured out how to play. Bastard.
It took me a little bit. I picked this up when I picked up a Amiga DOS 3.2 book that just got released, and it's from the same publisher. They published this little card game. I was already getting it sent from Germany, so I was like, yeah, throw that in there too. Why not? By the time I'm already shipping it, I've been kind of looking at it just because, but it has all of the Amigas in there, all the original ones, and it has the Amigas in there. It had some clones that happened through the different sales after Commodore folded. It had some of the future stuff they were going to build that were kind of announced, but nothing ever happened at a prototype stage. Or maybe the prototype was built, but then Commodore folded, or SCOM folded, or Gateway 2000 had one in there. So it was
neat.
It was just seeing all the different machines and the specs on them, and that's really why I bought it. That's 100% why I bought it.
And for me, it was really neat because I have my level of Amiga knowledge is 500, 1200, 4000, 3000. That's it. So that's like my level of Amiga knowledge. So it was neat to see all the different units, and we would stop and talk about after we would do a trick. It was like, oh, which one is this, Ryan? This is prototype, blah, blah, blah. And then we would get to talk about it. And then that could lead to Wikipedia. That could, it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool how it worked.
Right. And then it was midnight after about 3 games.
Yeah, and then it was time to go to bed. And
Yeah,
then we had, and wow, we're not really in perfect chronological order, folks. Some of these things bounce in and out. But I'm going to really mess up our chronological order since we're kind of coming to the end, and we'll talk a little more about retro computing. Let's talk about food, baby.
but we always like to eat. One of the things is we're going to go get some barbecue when we're down there. And we did. We found, I think we did 3 different days. And then I actually was like, all right, we got to eat something other than barbecue as well. And I don't believe you objected with that.
No, we mixed in the mellow mushroom for some pizza and salad.
Right.
We then mixed in some chipotle because
Chipotle.
who doesn't
Yeah.
love? And then the fiance is not a big fan of potbellies. You're a
Right.
big fan of potbellies. I'm a big fan of potbellies. So we got a potbellies worked in on the trip too.
Right. So that was pretty good. It was a good mix between the 3 barbecues and that. And even at the zoo, we ate a little bit of barbecue at the zoo too.
Oh, that's right.
Weirdly enough.
Let's do some ratings. I have listed in our show notes here, Ryan, the 4 places we went. We had Soul Man's Barbecue. We had Red Barn Barbecue. We
Right.
had Dickie's at the zoo. And we had
Yep.
Hutchinson's to round things out on game night. So Soul Man's, older location, had been around Dallas, Fort Worth area, I think, since the 70s. And is
Okay.
a traditional dive barbecue joint. You walk in, you hit the line, you go sit down, you eat your food, you get out. Great at lunch, great for a quick dinner, that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Any memorable moments? Out of a 1 through 5, where are you throwing that on the star rating?
Oh, of the 4, that was probably my least favorite.
Okay, so we're going to do 1 to 4, with 4 being the best. So that one is a 1. Soul Man's is traditional barbecue. Was there anything bad? Would you say it just wasn't as good as the others?
Right, it just wasn't as good as the others. I'd go back. I don't have any objections to going. All of these places I would go back to. I just like them in a different range. And
100%.
the 3 out of the 4, I got the same thing at each place.
Yeah.
The zoo barbecue, I got something different, and I was amazingly surprised by it.
I know we all were amazingly surprised by that visit, because even Sarah was surprised. So we did Soul Man's, me and you. I'm going to say very standard barbecue fare. I like their sauce. I like their sides. It was pretty good, Yeah, I've been back. I'll go back. It was the lowest of the rankings. Now, the next place we went was while we were in Fort Worth going to Time Rift Arcade. I could definitely recommend the Red Barn Barbecue. It's like Soul Man's. It's a barbecue dive. You walk in, you hit the aisle, you get your food on a tray, you go back to your seat, and it almost the same size too, wasn't it? It was a little smaller maybe, but it was about the same size as Soul Man's.
It was really cool. They did have a really neat metal pig out front that I actually enjoyed for some weird reason. So, and the barn, it said Red Barn, and they're literally in like a Red Barn looking building.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. It was good. They were super friendly. It was super good stuff. It just, they're in the range of being tied with the zoo barbecue. That said, I got something different at the zoo barbecue, so it's not maybe a fair comparison.
Are we going to give it a 2?
It's like a 2. I'm cheating. I'm giving it a 2/3.
Okay, 2/3. Hey, you can do whatever you want. It's your show. 2/3. And I'm then going to go to our mystery zoo barbecue because I think we all know which one's going to be on top. But the mystery zoo barbecue, you got food, Sarah got food, I got ice cream.
Right.
What was the barbecue joint located within the Fort Worth Zoo?
It was in your old West Town, in the back by the Texas Wild section of it. I'm also giving it. Yeah, it was really good. I got a barbecue chicken sandwich, and those that may or may not know, if you've been following along, I can't do any dairy, which is fine. But their buns had no dairy in it, and they were fine. They were good. But the grilled or the barbecue chicken, I don't know what seasoning they put on it. It was actually really, really good. I was really pleasantly surprised. Like, oh, I would do this all the time. Was really, really good. Comparatively, the other ones I traditionally got was pulled pork and pork ribs at the other three, and I think we traded a rib, and I got brisket at somebody's.
Yeah, we kept doing that. We were like an old married couple. I'd buy one plate, you'd buy another plate, and then we would swap a little bit.
Yep.
It was Dickey's, folks. The restaurant at the Fort Worth Zoo was Dickey's. And it was even the she had a chopped beef sandwich. Sarah had a chopped beef, and it was super good. I couldn't believe it. We were all like, "This is Dickey's," and they're not smoking it at the zoo. They're bringing it in pre-smoked. I don't know how that place was so good out of all the Dickey's I've been to, but that had to be one of the best Dickey's I've been to.
Yeah, I've been to Dickey's now in, I don't know, 3 or 4 different states, and they're all a little bit different. So there's one here locally in Virginia at a local mall. It was okay. I went to one in Arizona that was really good. This one at the zoo was really good. Like, oh, if I'm going back to the zoo and I'm hungry, that's where I want to go. And I don't know if we went to one out there or not. I don't think we went to one out
there.
No,
we haven't, but we're going to next time because I was so surprised, and I haven't been to Dickey's in so long, that we will be going to a Dickey's. Just like I don't think I've ever taken you yet to Rudy's. Did we do Rudy's last time? I can't remember if we did.
I don't think so.
And then Sarah brought up even taking you to HEB and doing HEB barbecue. Just give that a try one time, which is our big grocery store down here. How are you rating the Fort Worth Zoo Dickey's?
They're also getting a 2/3.
All right.
I'm tying them with Red Bar. Just the fact that grilled the barbecue chicken, whatever they did with it, was just like, oh, what? This is amazing.
I know everyone's gonna freak out, dude. The people at Red Barn, when they listen to this, they're gonna be like, "You compared us to Dickey's," but for some reason, that Dickey's, it did some rocking that day. It was everything at the point.
Yeah, they were all on.
So that leaves us with Hutchinson's, the McKinney Frisco staple of barbecue. This is the second time we've been there on one of your visits. Right. The second time, I think we're going to give it top billing. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah, they just are. It was just great. And we even got takeout from there and took it back to your house and ate it there. It was just good.
Yeah, we grabbed brisket, we grabbed ribs, we grabbed turkey, we grabbed Texas Twinkies, we grabbed fries, we grabbed mac and cheese. We had all the pieces. Everyone filled their plates. There was no protein left when this was all over. I made a small plate for Sarah. She wasn't feeling well that night, so I made her a small plate for her to have lunch next day. But besides that, we cleared it out. And by the way, dude, 1 pound of brisket is not enough brisket in life. We went through that pound of brisket in like a heartbeat. I was like, next time I'm getting 2 pounds.
Oh, it was good. I mean, I wasn't hungry when we were done, though. It's just those pieces were huge.
Yeah.
If they were actually cut like halfways, it probably. I don't know.
I think next time I'd order more. I was watching the kids, man. They devoured it. So next time, if we did something like that, I'd probably go for 2 pounds of brisket and we added the ribs too. The ribs were.
We had the ribs.
Those were.
No, they were one of the 1 pounds. We had 1 pound of ribs.
Oh, that was 1 pound. The ribs seemed to be more. But anyways, listener, I'm sorry. We're getting off into a very tangent point. We're getting to a point that doesn't matter. It's moot.
Right.
Because the barbecue was the bomb, and it is top of it again next year. I have some I earmarked for this year that we didn't get to just because, dude, we got a lot of stuff done. There's still more to talk about. And we did a lot of stuff, and we didn't get to go around as much as I thought. But there's a couple other ones that are really highly rated I want to take you to see if they knock Hutchinson's off one day.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Next trip you come out here as well, there are a couple in this neighborhood also that I got to take you to.
Oh, yes. I love that idea. Dude, that Tex-Mex place we went when I was up there was on point. It was, as the older kids call it, it was on fleck. So it was younger kids don't say that anymore. And maybe it was Sigma. Maybe it would be Sigma to the younger kids. I don't know. It makes my nephew nuts when I do this. But Ryan's like, why are you talking in code, Rich? We now kind of sliding into our retro day. Last time you were here, the Volkswagen was here. It had some issues.
Right.
It didn't have its inspection. Well, it's
Correct.
all inspected now. So, dear listener, Ryan became a VW bus pilot and drove this thing around. Did you have a good time?
It was cool. I don't know how I pulled that off. I don't think I've driven a stick in over 20 years.
You went right to it. You went right to it like a bike that you had been riding.
I appreciate that vote of confidence. I was like, I do not need to brake. I guess what Sarah's VW.
Yeah.
You're out driving it around. So we would go like 3 blocks from your house to this big.
Just
like
drove around, little neighborhood area. There's a big warehouse spot we can go around and had a good time. Everything drove good. We're taking it on its first real camping trip next weekend. So next weekend, it's going to be out at Eisenhower State Park, only about an hour away. I didn't want to get too far away in case something breaks. I can always Uber. Yeah. If I get 5 hours away, it's a little different. 1 hour away, I can get a tow truck. 1 hour away, I can do a lot. So we're doing a quick little trip this month. Should be 50s, 49, 45.
Oh, nice. That's not bad.
Great. Beautiful snuggling weather in the van.
Nice.
I can't wait. But yes, we've been doing work on it on and off. And now it's ready to start doing its life and taking us on weekend adventures throughout the state of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, wherever we want to go.
I think you'll have a good time with it. I enjoyed driving it around. I think the worst thing I did, I really think when I tried to go to second gear one time, I ended up in fourth. I really think that's what happened. And I'm like, just a bit outside. I'm like, why? This doesn't seem right. And it never did it after that. I was like,
no, you started hitting the gears. You did great, man. If you haven't driven a stick in a long time, you just got to roll through it a couple times, and then all that muscle memory comes back. Where's the clutch point at? I mean, when you were driving the standard, it was a Rabbit, right? A Volkswagen.
A Volkswagen Rabbit. That's what I learned on.
Yeah. So it probably had its clutch point a little different than the bus. You know what I mean? So once you kind of get that, you're good.
It was fun to drive. Biggest thing that was a surprise to me is how much exhaust systems have changed over the last 40 years.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. As we wrapped up, Ryan's like, I think I'm getting a little stuffy in here, little fumes. And again, it's an old vehicle. All these things are just where they at. I did have to replace a lot of the vacuum tubing when we first got it because it was really bad when I drove it to begin with. It was like you would fill up and you could just smell gas. You would drive, you could just smell gas. So, but it's an older thing, but it's going to be fun. Speaking of older things, finally, I worked on the machine you gave me. What did we throw on the bench and record some videos around?
Well, we busted out your A500 Plus that you picked up at VCF East earlier this year. You just got a motherboard because I'd given you an A500 case, keyboard. I did a little work on the keyboard to get it to actually work because a couple of the keys weren't working on it. And we finally got that on the bench. We got a GoTech in there for you. Yes. That's all set up. Some basic stuff's working. You got an OS disc and a couple games we put on there. I think we played the heck out of Tiny Bubble.
We did. And I still need to go buy all my ROMs from Hyperion. So I need to get that done. But I have found a couple sites that I was poking around on that they say, here's ADFs for download. And they have been cleared by the owner, proprietor, the company. They've given these sites rights to host and download. So I do have some ADFs to test on that drive. So that'll be nice. And we did a quick little test run to make sure I understood how the hell to do it. And super simple with the GoTech, folks. You got your thumb drive. You put what you want on it. You plug it in. It recognizes it. You select it from the little wheel. with a little LCD. Ryan built his GoTex to where they had the LCD to show file names. It would be really not fun to do it without the little window, dude. Without the little LCD, that would not be
right. Fun. So there are a couple of different GoTex out there. I just bought the model that had a little click wheel, so you can spin it around and it'll change what's on there, and an LCD that tells you which one you've highlighted. The first, 12 characters, 15 characters of the ADF you've selected. And when you spin it around, you just wait a couple seconds and it goes, oh, I'm going to do a disk change and I'm going to change that for you. So there are multiple models out there to get. I just bought one already that had the firmware on it, which is the flash floppy firmware, which is what the Amiga uses. There are other firmwares for other machines, but that's the one that I used for this. I just bought it that way. Already bought it with the LCD, already bought it with this. And that's the one I like. There are cheaper models that just have little LED numbers on it, and you have just those 2 push buttons to go up and down. So you have to do the mapping yourself into another program that says number 1 points to this ADF disk, number 2 is this, and then you got to remember them.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't want to do that.
Spin the wheel, man. The one that was over at National Video Game Museum. That
Correct.
one, did it have an LCD, or is that why you kept having the display on the screen of the contents?
Correct. It's an older one. It wasn't even a GoTech. I forget what it was, but it's a predecessor to the GoTech. At least that's what I found online. And it had up and down buttons and then like a little LED number. So you had to go back to a program's on the first top of it. It's like, hey, program this, and then you can see all the stuff that's on the floppy, and then I can assign it to numbers on the drive itself.
Boy, I'm really glad I got the one I got.
Yes, that was. I was not going to do that to you. This is the one I want to use. I think they're like $20 more, $25 more maybe than the one without the LCD. It's well worth it. It's just easier. Highly recommend spending a little extra money and have it done. I know you can buy the drive itself and all the parts, and you can build one yourself, but they're like $50, $50-$60 for a floppy. They're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they show up, they're flashed, they're ready to go, and you're done. And that is not the thing I want to be messing around with.
No, you want games have fun. And maybe modifying your case to fit and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that on future projects with the GoTech.
Right.
And another project that went really well, Ryan did 2 episodes ago on his Amiga, and he didn't realize I had bought all the parts to do the same project on my Amiga.
Which has been great. We got you a RGB to HDMI already set up.
Oh, it's so nice, dude.
You just plug in your HDMI to this thing, and it's like, boom, here you go. We've got the firmware set up on it, so it's pretty easy. You download the stuff off of GitHub. There's 2 Amiga files you copy in certain places, and it has the config all ready to go. It boots up. You've got video out. You're done.
A beautiful video out, too. Unbelievable to think you're pulling great HDMI video off this 30-year-old machine. And we did make a Micro Center run. We just picked up some headers to go with the kits that I had bought. They didn't come with headers, right? The little pin leads?
Yeah, the little headers. Yep.
Yeah, headers. So we went and got a variety pack. But while we were there, of course, Ryan has to see something too. They were stocking all their pies. They were like literally restock a clock.
And I was like, well, I'm going to put a Pi Storm in my Amiga 1000, and I put the RGB to HDMI in my Amiga 1000. I'm probably going to do another Pi Storm, so I bought another Pi 3A Plus, and then I bought 3 Pi 02Ws with headers. Sooner or later, I'll find a use for them, or somebody will need one, and I just have them and I don't have to worry about it.
Like the time you needed a Pi Zero, and they were all out of stock, and I'm like, oh, dude, I've got one in my drawer, and I just shipped it up to you because you just need when they come in handy, they come in handy, and I mean they are so inexpensive for what they do. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're amazing for what they can do with them and how they fit in with the retro world is just, it's amazing what people are doing with them. People way smarter than I am for sure, but they're great. They just work, and they make stuff so much easier. I don't have to worry about finding a 15 kilohertz monitor. I don't have to.
Yeah.
It just works great.
That's like I got a PAL board. I don't even know I have a PAL board. It doesn't even bother me because it's all coming out just beautiful HDMI from this device. But anyways, that's also going to lead up to some future projects. But one project we did clear up pretty quick was the mouse. We thought it was going to be like one of your older mice that you had just rebuilt.
Correct.
And so we got it apart. What were the differences?
Looks like it's an older one. The buttons are a different size for the mouse buttons. So the actual buttons are, I think, 11 millimeter buttons instead of 6 millimeter buttons. So it's like, oh, that's not an easy fix, because like Micro Center has this kit of buttons, but they're all 6 millimeter buttons.
Yeah.
And they seem to work without the top on. I don't know what's going on with the button wise. The mouse was super dirty. I know you cleaned that up a lot. We got a lot of that crap off. You know, the little wheels with the little mouse ball just collects dirt over time. And if you don't clean it, it turns into like this concrete substance that you got to scrape off those wheels. That's what you had to do.
And I swear, after cleaning and scraping and then putting the ball back in cleaned, and again, that ball is truly, when you move one way, rolling against a roller that then translates that to the computer that you're going to left or right or up or down. There's only two rollers, a left and right roller, and they go a positive, negative direction, and then a up and down, again, a positive, negative direction on the way it spins. Once we did all the cleaning, it actually ran really well. So I thought we were going to have a really pain in the butt mouse, but it turned out it just needed a little TLC, man, and it's running great.
Yeah, it's super great. For me, I still don't use the tank mice on a regular basis. I know they're the original thing, but the newer mice are just so much nicer. I buy an adapter.
Yep. I by the way, we're moving into the future updates area, and I just added adapter for USB mouse to the bottom of the list, because this is the section of what's happening with the A500 next. I know I've already gotten in a new floppy cable, so I can put the GoTech in a better position. Ours was a little tight. It was as we took the original floppy out and took the GoTech and put it in, there was a little bit of size difference. So I have a new floppy cable. I have case screws that now have said they've shipped. That was really neat. I was talking to Ryan about going to Home Depot and matching and looking for tall and short ones. And Ryan's like, dude, just look online. And I was like, oh yeah, this guy at Etsy probably buys big boxes, separates them into two different bags, a short and a long screw, sells you a pack of each for, I think, $12. Oh, maybe it was 14. 12's on my head because of the last episode. I think it was like $14. I got all the screws I need. I don't care. I probably paid an extra $4. I don't know. But I'm going to have the right case screws. I'm not going to screw up. I know if you put the wrong screw in, like on a C64, you can pop out the mounting pieces. The plastic will just separate. So this way I know I'm not going to break the case.
Right. It's just easier. You threw a little bit of money at the problem, make that. That is not the thing you want to be spending your time on. So it's easier in that aspect. And, you know, time versus money.
And I got a few more. I know with the GoTech, what else did we leave on that? We have a power adapter to clean up. And I think I got my 3D printer set up now in the shop.
Oh, good.
So I cleaned up that little area where all the cardboard boxes were and the making materials. And I got the 3D printer set up. I need to, maybe Monday, I have a day off. Maybe Monday, Veterans Day is coming up. I have no idea when this drops. And maybe Monday I'll get that printing done. Because Ryan, what did you say I could do with the GoTech? That was pretty cool.
Well, you can take it apart. So inside this, it comes in a 3.5-inch form factor, but there's some screws in there. You just take the top off, and it will pop off, and you can reposition all the pieces in there. Someone, I believe it's on Thingiverse or some other places too, you can make a drive sled where all that stuff fits in, and it'll fit correctly in your A500 case. And that's just going to make it easier. Or you go
this
get
is the one I want to do. The OR is the one I want to do. Go over the OR.
you do not really want to put in there because then you're looking down through the floppy thing on the side of an A500. Not as much fun. There is another bracket where you will then pull the LCD out and the little spin knob and stuff. You run a cable up through the vent in the top of the case, and this little thing you print out clicks up in there, but you put the LCD pan on your spin in there so you can then see it on the top of your 500. And there's one for 1200, 600 as well.
And
It'll
by
make
the
your
way,
life so much easier.
if my resin printing works and I like the way it is, I am probably going to contract you to do the same prints in PLA Amiga color. Because with my resin stuff, my resin stuff's a little more brittle than the PLA stuff, just period. So there's some brittleness there, and it is gray. I could mask it, spray it, probably get a pretty close rattle can to Amiga. But and you got the PLA, you can print it in the right color. So if this does work, I'll bug you and I'll end up replacing those at the end.
That's easy peasy. Let me know what model you get to work and all that, and we can print that and easy go. That's going to make your life so much easier being able to see it from the top of that 500.
Just flip around. Boop, 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 boop. I want to load up Archon. Boop. I want to load up Turrican. What's Turrican? Is that the one everybody plays on the Amiga? Turrican?
Turrican 2. Yeah.
Everybody loves that one. Boop, 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 boop. And I think there's Dune on there. I want to try that too.
Dune 2.
Oh, they don't have the regular Dune, only Dune 2.
Well, Dune 1 is like a text-based click, not text-based, but it's a click adventure kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dune 2 is a real-time, like Command and Conquer.
Oh, that's the one I want. I want Dune 2.
You want Dune 2?
Everybody talks about that game. I've seen YouTubes on it. It's just been around, and that's one I want to play. I could emulate it, but dude, it's fun to play on the hardware that it came with, and so that's kind of neat. And speaking of programming, I did put you to work, Ryan. You did.
You did a little bit. We worked on your basic program for your 64.
That's right. The Nielsen Papers adventure, which is now released on GitHub, by the way.
Oh, nice. Very good. Glad you wrapped that up. We were going through your logic, trying to figure out, okay, what's happening? Why are some of your commands not being operated correctly? And I did find the spot. I'm like, it's not being populated right here for some reason. I don't know what's going on yet. And what did you do to fix it?
I forgot line 425. That's what it was. Line 400 was right. Line 300 was right. Or line 420 was right. And line 430 was right. Ryan's like, there's a problem right here. And I go, oh, I'm missing a line. Wah, wah, wah.
Yep. And an hour later, we've insert 1 hour later joke here. Yeah. We inserted the line and everything started working great. I'm glad we got that working. That was pretty cool to see. I learned a little bit about the Vice Simulator because I haven't really been doing a lot with the 8-bit. Right. So just seeing a little bit of what you're doing, I'm like, oh, that's how that works. And then that was a great experience as well.
And it was neat for me. It got me to help explain what I've been learning, right? Because, I mean, you understand all these programming principles, but the way that they're being used in this text adventure is stuff you don't necessarily, I'm sure, do at work. You know what I mean? But what's really crazy, folks, is I explained a lot of the logic about why this data array was this way, how it's only parsing the first 3 letters. You can put any words in, it sees the spaces. We had a really good conversation, made me feel good. I'm learning. Because one of the things my dad would say is, you haven't learned it till you can teach it to someone. And so that's kind of nice in life. If you can repeat the concepts you're trying to learn and you understand them and you can get someone else to understand what you're fucking saying, that's a good sign. That means you got something going on. What's weird is we did that on the last day before the airplane. So we wrap up, it's done, we load up in the car. On the way to the airplane, Ryan's explaining to me, you can do this way that you have a variable and you adjust its number based upon things that have been going on. And you always check this number for what you want to do in the next state of play.
Right.
Ryan, you left. I start on the 3rd text adventure in this training book. It's exactly what you described.
Oh, that's funny. Nice.
That is so funny, dude. Your brain started thinking. and you were
Oh, yeah.
thinking about text adventures and programming, and you told me about a different way I could do it. And then the next chapter covers that method. And I just died laughing. I got about, I don't know, a quarter, a third of that program in right now. Hopefully
Okay.
I have a, maybe another night or something, I'll type in some more code, but it's coming along. And so I'm very happy for your support on that basic programming adventure that I was on. So, but yeah, I didn't mean to be chronological on that ending, but that was kind of the ending. After that, we took you to the airport.
Yeah, we wrapped up we were going to leave at 3 to start heading over to the airport. And I think we wrapped up 10 minutes till.
Yeah.
And it was just in time. Here we go. And off we go.
Just in time? That's our favorite D&D character, Just in Time.
Right.
Yes. We'll see if he stayed around long enough in this video or this podcast to hear that joke.
I bet he has. I know he
loves that joke. I love it whenever that's his character when we play D&D, Just in Time. So yeah, that kind of brings us to a close. I think next podcast episode, we go back more to our regular scheduled program of what we've been doing electronically, what we've been doing not robot wise, retro wise, if that makes sense.
I know by the time we come back, my vintage computer meetup will have happened.
That's awesome.
And we can talk a little bit about that as well. I fixed out some logistical issues I had the last time, and hopefully I'll get some more time to interact with some folks and learn more about the stuff that they brought. I was distracted for about half of it, just trying to get some logistical issues worked out for my last one, which was the first one. This will be the second one. So it's just more of all right, how do we make everybody happy and make sure we're all good and don't get bounced from the library?
That's right. You got to be safe. You got to be respectful, and you got to have fun. And I think once you take care of the first two, the third one's super easy.
Right. So that's pretty cool. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to you guys all coming off to our next adventure.
Thanks, everyone. Hopefully you have a great time. Go have your own adventure. Thanks for hanging out with us so long. Bye now.